Americans consume over 1.3 billion gallons of ice cream every year, spending nearly $13 billion on frozen treats that promise creamy indulgence. But here's the plot twist that'll make you check every label in the freezer aisle. Some of the most popular brands aren't even legally allowed to call themselves ice cream. I just spent 3 weeks buying every major ice cream brand from grocery stores across the country, analyzing ingredients, conducting taste tests, and diving deep into what you're actually paying for when you grab that pint. What I discovered will completely change how you shop the frozen aisle and might save you from some seriously disappointing dessert disasters. Today, we're exposing the 7 ice cream brands that are basically selling you frozen disappointment in fancy packaging, and revealing the 3 hidden gems that prove real ice cream still exists if you know where to look. Some of these brands are charging premium prices for what amounts to flavored air with more chemicals than a high school chemistry lab. Others are quietly delivering restaurant-quality gelato at grocery store prices. The problem is, the marketing makes them all look the same. Let's start with the frozen frauds that should come with warning labels. Number 7. Generic store brand tubs. The Air Sandwich. Taking our 7th spot are generic store brand ice cream tubs, which prove that sometimes the cheapest option is actually the most expensive mistake you can make. At around $3.99 for a 1.75 quart tub, these look like incredible value until you realize you're essentially paying for flavored air with a side of regret. These brands suffer from what food scientists call high overrun. They pump so much air into the mixture that you're literally buying atmosphere with a hint of dairy. The ingredient list reads like a chemistry experiment gone wrong. Instead of cream, milk, sugar, and vanilla, you're getting corn syrup solids, guar gum, carrageenan, and something called natural flavor. That could mean anything from beaver glands to wood pulp. I'm not making this up. But here's the real kicker, the texture. Scoop into a generic tub and you'll get ice crystals that crunch like you're eating flavored snow, followed by a watery melt that leaves your mouth feeling like you just drank sweetened milk that someone forgot to freeze properly. Multiple taste tests consistently rank store brands at the bottom for good reason. The vanilla tastes like someone described the concept of vanilla to an alien who had never experienced actual flavor. You're getting the ice cream equivalent of cardboard, technically edible, but spiritually defeating. For the same $4, you could buy ingredients to make your own ice cream and actually taste what frozen dairy is supposed to be like. Number 6. Breyers Frozen Dairy Dessert Lines. The Identity Crisis. Breyers claims the 6th spot with a product that perfectly illustrates everything wrong with corporate cost-cutting disguised as family tradition. Here's something that'll blow your mind. Many Breyers products can't legally be called ice cream anymore. Check the label. You'll see frozen dairy dessert in small print. That's because they've replaced so much real cream with air, gums, and stabilizers that the FDA won't let them use the ice cream designation. At $4.99 for a 1.5 quart tub, you're paying ice cream prices for what's essentially frozen milk soup with artificial thickeners. The reformulation over the past decade has turned what used to be a decent family brand into something food critics describe as aggressively mediocre. The texture is where Breyers truly excels at disappointment. What should be creamy becomes gluey. What should be rich becomes watery. Bite into Breyers and you'll experience what can only be described as frozen regret that melts into sugary sadness. But the real betrayal is nostalgia manipulation. They're banking on your childhood memories of actual ice cream while serving you a product that bears no resemblance to what made those memories special. You're paying for the ghost of ice cream past, not anything resembling ice cream present. The sodium content is reasonable, but when the baseline flavor is vaguely dairy adjacent, that's not much of a selling point. Number 5. Halo Top and Light Ice Cream Brands, The Protein Lie. Halo Top secures the 5th spot by proving that sometimes the healthy option is just expensive disappointment with better marketing. At around $5.99 per pint, Halo Top costs roughly 3 times more per ounce than regular ice cream while delivering what nutrition experts call modest protein benefits at best. We're talking about 6 grams of protein per serving. That's less than you'd get from the same calories of Greek yogurt, but somehow this gets marketed as protein ice cream. The Center for Science in the Public Interest specifically calls out these brands for overstating their health benefits while charging premium prices for what amounts to frozen diet food with an identity crisis. But here's where it gets really disappointing: the taste. Multiple taste tests describe Halo Top's texture as chalky, with an artificial aftertaste that lingers like regret. The sweeteners and fiber additives that keep the calories low also create what reviewers politely call gastrointestinal discomfort. Basically, fake ice cream that makes your stomach angry. You're paying premium prices for a product that satisfies neither your ice cream cravings nor your actual nutritional needs. It's the worst of both worlds: expensive, unsatisfying, and potentially stomach upsetting. The real kicker? For the same $6, you could buy actual premium ice cream, eat a smaller portion, and actually enjoy the experience instead of choking down frozen disappointment while telling yourself it's healthy. Number 4. Bluebell, the safety gamble. Bluebell takes the 4th spot with ice cream that's beloved in certain regions, but carries baggage that should make any informed consumer think twice. While Bluebell maintains strong regional loyalty, especially in the South, the brand's history of listeria contamination that led to multiple deaths and a complete production shutdown still haunts informed consumers. Food safety experts note that while the company has implemented new safety protocols, the fact that such severe contamination occurred in the first place raises questions about quality control systems. At around $5.99 per half gallon, Bluebell positions itself as premium regional ice cream, but taste tests consistently show it rarely achieves category-leading flavor compared to newer premium players. The texture is good but not exceptional, and the flavor profiles tend towards safe and familiar rather than innovative or particularly high quality. What's frustrating is that Bluebell's marketing leans heavily on tradition and regional pride. But tradition doesn't excuse the kind of safety failures that put customers in the hospital. You're paying for nostalgia and regional identity rather than actual ice cream excellence. The brand's limited distribution also means inconsistent availability and freshness. What tastes great in Texas might sit in distribution longer before reaching other markets. For the same price, you can find brands that deliver better flavor without the safety question marks. Number 3. Ben & Jerry's The Sugar Bomb. This is going to be controversial, but Ben & Jerry's claims the 3rd spot despite being the most searched ice cream brand in America. Sometimes popularity and quality are two completely different things. Don't get me wrong, Ben & Jerry's gets some things right. The chunks are massive, the flavors are creative, and the brand consistency is impressive. But here's what they get wrong. They're essentially selling you a sugar and saturated fat delivery system disguised as ice cream. We're talking about ice cream that contains more sugar per serving than a can of Coca-Cola, with saturated fat levels that make nutritionists wince. A single serving of many Ben & Jerry's flavors contains nearly a quarter of your daily recommended saturated fat intake. But the real issue is the base ice cream, the actual dairy part. Food critics consistently note that while the mix-ins are impressive, the underlying ice cream tastes like it was designed to be a vehicle for chunks rather than something delicious on its own. At $5.99 per pint, you're paying premium prices for what amounts to very good marketing wrapped around aggressively average ice cream loaded with enough sugar and fat to make your dentist and cardiologist equally concerned. The recent packaging switch to those flimsy plastic containers makes the experience even worse. Try getting a pint out of that bag without creating a crime scene in your kitchen. Ben & Jerry's represents the triumph of marketing and chunk engineering over actual ice cream craftsmanship. Number 2. Häagen-Dazs Grocery Store Pints, the icy disappointment. Taking the 2nd spot is Häagen-Dazs, which proves that even premium brands can fail when they prioritize shelf life over quality. Here's the thing that'll surprise you. Häagen-Dazs at their scoop shops is genuinely excellent. Rich, creamy, with that perfect dense texture that makes premium ice cream worth the price. But those grocery store pints? They're a completely different product that happens to share the same name. Multiple taste tests specifically call out grocery store Häagen-Dazs pints for developing ice crystals and that characteristic iciness that ruins the texture. What should be smooth and luxurious becomes crunchy and disappointing. You're paying $6.99 for premium ice cream that tastes like it's been through a freeze-thaw cycle in a broken freezer. The problem is distribution and storage. By the time those pints reach your grocery store freezer, they've often been through temperature fluctuations that destroy the texture that makes Häagen-Dazs special in the first place. You're essentially paying premium prices for a degraded version of what could be excellent ice cream. It's like buying a luxury car that's been sitting in a flood. The name is still prestigious, but the actual experience is deeply disappointing. For the same $7, you could visit their scoop shop and get the real thing, or buy a different brand that's actually designed to survive grocery store distribution. Number 1. Walmart Great Value. The Science Experiment. Taking the top spot in our Hall of Shame is Walmart's Great Value ice cream, which proves that some things are cheap for very good reasons. At $4.98, it's competitively priced with other budget options, but that's where any positive comparison ends. Great Value ice cream suffers from what can only be described as an identity crisis. It can't decide if it wants to be food or a chemistry experiment. The consistency is the first red flag. Buy Great Value ice cream on Monday and you might get something that resembles actual frozen dairy. Buy it on Friday evening and you're likely to encounter something that's been living under fluorescent lights since the previous administration, with a texture that suggests it's given up on life entirely. The ingredient list reads like someone challenged a food scientist to see how many unpronounceable additives they could cram into a single product. We're talking about more stabilizers and artificial flavors than actual dairy ingredients, but here's the real kicker: the flavor. The vanilla tastes like someone described the concept of vanilla to an AI that had never experienced actual taste. It's aggressively bland in a way that makes you appreciate how difficult it apparently is to make something that tastes like nothing while still being technically sweet. The texture alternates between icy and gluey, sometimes achieving both simultaneously, in what can only be called a culinary achievement of the worst kind. You're essentially paying $5 for the privilege of being disappointed by dessert while questioning your life choices. Great Value ice cream represents everything wrong with the cheap food mentality. It's not actually cheap if it's inedible. Before we reveal the 3 ice cream brands that actually deserve your money, I want to thank you for watching this far. If you're finding this investigation helpful, hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people discover these grocery store deep dives, and it'll really help our small channel out. And if you're the kind of person who wants to know which food brands are actually worth your hard-earned money, subscribe, because we've got plenty more investigations coming your way. Now, let's talk about the brands that actually understand what ice cream should be. Number 3. Tillamook, the Honest Premium. Tillamook takes third place by doing something revolutionary in the ice cream business, treating ice cream like actual food rather than a marketing opportunity disguised as frozen dairy. At around $5.99 for a 1.75-quart container, Tillamook delivers what food critics consistently call near-premium quality at reasonable prices. They use high-quality dairy from their Pacific Northwest cooperative, and you can actually taste the difference. The ingredient list is refreshingly honest: cream, milk, sugar, real vanilla, instead of the chemical symphony you'll find in cheaper brands. The texture is consistently creamy without being artificially thick, and the flavors taste like what they claim to be, rather than laboratory approximations. What sets Tillamook apart is consistency across locations and batches. Their ice cream tastes the same whether you buy it in Oregon or Florida. That suggests quality control systems that actually work. The vanilla tastes like vanilla. The chocolate tastes like chocolate. Revolutionary concepts in the modern ice cream landscape. Multiple grocery store rankings consistently place Tillamook among the brands dominating freezers in 2025 because they've figured out how to deliver premium taste without premium pretension or premium prices. You're getting honest ice cream made by people who understand that the goal is to enhance dairy, not mask it with artificial everything. Number 2, Jeni's, the artisan standard. Jeni's earns the silver medal by proving that artisan ice cream can be both innovative and consistently excellent. At $8.99 per pint, it's expensive. But food critics and taste tests consistently rank Jeni's at or near the top for flavor creativity and execution. We're talking about complex layered flavors like sweet cream biscuits and peach jam that actually deliver on their ambitious names. What makes Jeni's special is their approach to base flavors. Instead of starting with generic vanilla and adding stuff, they build flavors from the ground up using what they call a buttermilk base. That creates depth and complexity you won't find anywhere else. The texture is consistently praised by professional reviewers, dense without being heavy, creamy without being artificial, with inclusions that maintain their integrity instead of turning into sugary mush. Jeni's also excels at transparency. They highlight grass-fed dairy, seasonal ingredients, and local partnerships in ways that actually affect flavor, rather than just sounding good on packaging. You can taste the difference that quality sourcing makes. At $9 per pint, you're paying premium prices. But unlike most premium grocery store items, Jeni's actually delivers premium results. This is ice cream that competes with the best gelato shops while being available in your local grocery store. Number 1. Häagen-Dazs Scoop Shops, the gold standard. Taking the top spot is Häagen-Dazs, but specifically from their scoop shops, not the grocery store pints we criticized earlier. Here's why this matters. Häagen-Dazs Scoop Shop ice cream represents what happens when a brand focuses on the actual product instead of shelf life and distribution logistics. Same company, completely different experience. The vanilla is consistently praised by food critics as the benchmark against which all other vanilla ice creams are measured. High butterfat content, simple ingredients, cream, milk, sugar, egg yolks, real vanilla, and that perfect dense texture that makes premium ice cream worth the premium price. What sets Scoop Shop Häagen-Dazs apart is consistency of excellence. Every scoop delivers that rich, custard-like texture with clean, intense flavors that don't need chunks or gimmicks to be interesting. The chocolate tastes like the best chocolate you've ever had. The strawberry tastes like strawberries that actually ripened on the plant. Professional taste tests consistently rank Häagen-Dazs vanilla as the gold standard, noting that it delivers the kind of rich, satisfying experience that justifies calling something premium ice cream. Yes, it's more expensive than grocery store options, but you're paying for what ice cream is supposed to be, a perfect balance of cream, sugar, and flavor that creates something greater than the sum of its parts. This is ice cream that reminds you why ice cream became a beloved dessert in the first place. After 3 weeks of ice cream investigation, here's what I learned. The difference between good and bad ice cream isn't just about price or marketing. It's about whether a company views ice cream as food or as a delivery system for artificial flavors and cost-cutting shortcuts. The worst ice cream brands on our list share common problems: excessive air content, artificial ingredients, poor texture control, and the assumption that customers won't notice the difference between real ice cream and frozen dairy-adjacent products. The best ice cream brands understand that premium doesn't have to mean pretentious and affordable doesn't have to mean awful. They use quality ingredients, employ proper techniques, and treat ice cream with the respect it deserves. Your dessert budget is valuable, and your taste buds deserve better than frozen disappointment with fancy packaging. Look for brands that use simple, recognizable ingredients, maintain consistent quality, and understand that ice cream should taste like the flavors they claim to represent. The next time you're tempted by that $3.99 tub or seduced by healthy ice cream marketing, remember this ranking. Sometimes the most expensive thing you can buy is cheap ice cream that ruins dessert. If this investigation helped you become a smarter ice cream shopper, hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more grocery store deep dives that'll change how you shop for food.